too.
This is a serious storm, and it's going to affect the entire state of Virginia.
Virginians and North Carolinians are fleeing the region as Hurricane Florence barrels closer and closer to the coast.
All gas stations and grocery stores are swarmed with people trying to get the bare essentials.
13 News Now starts in team coverage as we track the monster that is Hurricane Florence.
Right now, schools across Hampton Roads and Northeast North Carolina have closed or are about to shut their doors, and that includes Norfolk State University, which will cancel class starting at 12:30, and CMU will close tomorrow. That's all because of Hurricane Florence. Thank you so much for joining us at noon. I'm Christina Robinson.
And I'm Dan Kennedy. It is another busy day. Right, Category 4 storm is forcing its way through the Atlantic. We've been bringing the latest about the storm all morning long. Tim Pandachis is back with another update. Tim, what's new?
Hey guys, yeah, we had an 11 a.m. advisory that had a update on the intensity, also a tweak of the forecast track. So let's get right to it. Category 4 storm still 130 miles per hour winds, sustained with gusts up to 160. Expected to maintain that Category 4, if not Category 5 status at some point through its lifetime before making interaction with the land. This is going to be near Wilmington here, just to the northeast of there. Again, that track encompasses all the way up through Buxton and all the way south to Charleston, North Carolina. So at this point in time, that spread is quite wide. The reason why the models are still not in complete agreement. Think about it, we're still about 48 hours before it makes its run at the North Carolina coastline. Out ahead of it, hurricane watches are up all the areas in red, stretching down to the entire coastline of North Carolina, down to South Carolina, and out towards Back Bay and Sandbridge as well. And that's for the potential of hurricane conditions within 48 hours, and that will be 74 mile per hour winds or stronger. Here's a look on how Florence is shaping up on satellite imagery. A very large and well-defined eye has redeveloped after going through something called an eye wall replacement cycle, which briefly weakened it. Now it's likely strengthening once again, and we'll see what the recon aircraft see this afternoon with the update at 2 p.m. and then again at 5. Here's our threats: the wind. Obviously, with a tropical system and a hurricane making landfall, the closer you are to the center, the stronger the winds. But here are the chance of tropical storm force winds. And notice a large chunk of Hampton Roads, if not everybody, has a 50% chance or better of seeing those winds up and over 50 or 40 miles per hour. Also, the rain will be there is a large deviation between the models. This is the GFS, 10 to 15 inches. Meanwhile, the European, which has a slightly southern track, keeps that down to a fraction of what the GFS is showing. So we'll talk more about this and break down that threat and the impact for Hampton Roads in your full forecast in just a few minutes, guys.
Tim, thank you. And now we're going to take you live to Duck, North Carolina. This is a live picture. Beautiful now, but Outer Banks residents and visitors are evacuating that area.
And 13 News Now reporter Allie Weatherton is live in Nags Head with the latest on the down there. Allie.
Well, Christina, it's a very busy day here at the Outer Banks. If you take a look behind me, we're off South Croatan Highway where people are evacuating. They're heading north. Now, if you look a little closer, you can see those outlets on the other side of the road. Those crews are actually boarding up the windows and doors. Now, some say they're staying home and preparing for the storm, while others say they're leaving and heading north.
About being safe. That's all it is.
And Dare County emergency management officials are urging visitors and residents to leave ahead of Hurricane Florence. Aaron Kelly is listening.
Big storm, I ain't taking no chances. 5 kids, 3 boats. I'm out of here.
Mandatory evacuations went into effect this morning for everyone in Dare County. Some of those towns include Duck, Southern Shores, and Kitty Hawk.
We're in a condo and we got a text through the app. And then, everyone mandatory evacuation, 7 a.m.
Croatan Highway was packed with people trying to get out of Florence's path. And with so many members filling up, many gas stations are now out of fuel.
Plan is to go to my buddy's place in Virginia Beach and ride out there to my flight on Wednesday. If I can fly out on Wednesday.
But some residents say they're riding out the storm.
What's the point? If you go inland, you only get hit, so I'm just going to stay here and ride out.
I don't have anywhere to go. Going to Raleigh does you no good because they're expecting more rain than us. So might as well just hunker down. I've got plenty of water, I've got gas for the generator, boarding up the windows.
Now, officials are urging you to go somewhere else. They say that if you do stay here and you need to get to an emergency, you need to get somewhere they may not be able to get to. So right now is the time to head somewhere else. Live in Nags Head, Allie Weatherton, 13 News Now.
Allie, thank you. And new at noon, just moments ago, the city of Norfolk and Old Dominion University revealed their plans for what happens if Hurricane Florence hits our area.
13 News Now anchor Erin LeBeau was there. She breaks down what officials said. Erin.
Yeah, Christina, just moments ago, the city of Norfolk officials announced that all garages here on Old Dominion University's campus would be open to residents to park their cars. Now, when you take a look around here on campus, it seems that most of the students have already left, but for good reason. Most of the campus and areas around it are in that zone A, where that mandatory evacuation order was declared. Now, officials say they already expect with Hurricane Florence for there to be dangerous storm surge and tidal flooding. That's why they are opening up these garages for people's cars. They also say that they anticipate the area's utilities and water systems being damaged for several days. But good news, Public Works has been out since last Friday, kind of assessing the storm drain systems to, ease some of that flooding. But they say right now people need to prepare for these conditions and make sure their family is safe.
I would say that along with preparing, take that next step to your neighbors.
As far as ODU students are concerned, I'm told that the ones that cannot leave campus, there is a plan in place to kind of relocate them. And for everyone else in the city of Norfolk, the city will start opening up 5 shelters.
Thank you for the thumbs
tomorrow.
up.
That's the latest here in Norfolk. I'm Erin LeBeau, 13 News Now.
Erin, thank you for that update. And happening today, aircrafts at Naval Station Norfolk are set to fly out. This comes a day after the Navy ordered nearly 30 ships at Naval Station Norfolk and JEB Little Creek out to sea. And those ships are actually able to handle storms like Florence better when they're on the water. Some ships haven't left yet because they're undergoing maintenance, but officials say they're taking extra precautions to keep those vessels safe.
Have a live look over Norfolk this afternoon, and right now all 5 parking garages at Old Dominion will open to Norfolk residents, students, faculty, and staff. Classes are canceled for the rest of the week. The school is located in Zone A. That's the area under mandatory evacuation. And in Portsmouth, if you live in a flood-prone area, city parking garages will open tomorrow at noon. You can park your car at the County, Harbor, Middle, and Water Street garages. You can keep your car there until the city returns to normal operations, likely sometime next week. Well, knowing your zone is important for this storm.
Yeah, I just found my zone was C.
We're going to break down what you need to know and so much more, including the forecast.
I'm gonna let it run, guys. Sorry, you're gonna watch commercials. I don't like it. We'll see if we can let it run. Down at the bottom here. They're closing schools like crazy.
High-quality, durable roofing systems that protect your home from the elements, prevent energy loss. Ask about the Weather Stopper Golden Pledge warranty. You can count on us to put the best roof on your home. Don't worry about that old roof anymore. Give us a call today, 1-800-965-9832.
I'm very tired.
Or you can come by and see us, 1429 Crossways Boulevard here in Chesapeake, right off Greenbrier Parkway. Check us out on the web.
I think after this extended forecast, when they come back,
fall kickoff sale. Receive half off labor.
I'm going to try and take a nap.
Great financing. Ask about no interest for 18 months. And if you call right now, 1-800-965-9832. Receive a
I hate commercials.
gift card with purchase. Call Exterior Source today.
But I hate dead air too.
Becoming one of the best law firms
But
in the country takes enormous time and effort.
You know what? There's a button called mute. Yes, mute button. Oh, my next door neighbors are going to take my garbage cans and put them in their backyard for us. I thought that was really sweet. As soon as it goes off the commercials, I will turn it back up. One thing I do tell people who are living here, get yourself a clock that's battery operated. Here we go. Nope, still a commercial, sorry. Battery operated, I got mine. I'm working on trying to get some rest. Here we go.
Right now, residents and visitors throughout parts of the Outer Banks and Hampton Roads are evacuating. There are several monitoring heavy traffic still through Norfolk.
It's her camera that's crooked, not mine.
Backing up to the I-564 interchange and also troubles on I-664. So first we're starting off with a live look at the HRBT. So this is the Norfolk side of the HRBT. VDOT reporting about 6.5-mile delay there. And now taking a live look at I-664 in Suffolk. Traffic down to a crawl there. Monterey Merrimack, the northbound lanes there as you approach the Monterey Merrimack. So be aware, traffic really heavy. It's been heavy all morning long there. So now is the time to know your zone. We're talking about zones, and 13 News Now anchor Ashley Smith is here with more.
Yeah, Christina, once again, your zone is going to determine whether or not you need to leave. So we want to show you a map of the affected areas along the south side. And there's that map right there. Governor Ralph Northam ordered anyone living in Zone A to evacuate. Now, that started at 8 o'clock this morning.
Zone A is the dark blue.
You see there on your screens. Let's show you the peninsula zones now. Remember, blue is the only zone that needs to be evacuated at this time. And now to the eastern shore, there you go right there. Again, anyone living in those blue zones should be leaving right now. Now, if you're not sure what your zone is, just go to knowyourzoneva.org and put in your address. If you don't want to do that, you can call 211, or there may be a sticker on your trash can.
Yeah, traffic is really bad.
And you'll find out which zone you're in. In the studio, Ashley Smith, 13 News Now.
They did not put a sticker on my trash can.
Well, rough surf is ramming into the Virginia Beach oceanfront right now. This is a lecture.
So next we'll bring you an update on evacuation shelters and so much more.
Commercials again. What I did find out is that, wow, Lynn, the Outer Banks, the traffic was terrible on I-64 today. I thought I'd take that quick jump on there and jump off and go to the store, but no, I had to take the back roads into the store. So, yeah, it's pretty messed up out there with traffic-wise. When I was at the hardware store, it was a constant stream. They have 2 police officers sitting there. They had some joker try to walk off with a generator. They nailed him, naturally. Wow. What part of Virginia, Lynn? Sorry for commercials, guys, but even the Weather Channel does it, so I guess I'm okay with it. Okay, at least she's letting you know she's okay. Posting on Facebook's the way I keep up with my daughter in New Jersey. She's tracking the storm through me. The commercials are on now, set to come on back in a few minutes. I'm muting the commercials and trying to follow the schools that are closing. Here we go.
Designer suits for
nope. They got me. My next door neighbor is a nurse. Here we go.
We are 4 hours into the latest evacuation order from Governor Ralph Northam. Last night, he announced the evacuation order for people living in Zone A specifically.
And 13 News Now reporter Megan Shin is in the studio with us now. Megan, you spent the morning at Wawa on Hampton Boulevard, and you saw a lot of people there.
Yeah, you guys, all morning people were filling their cars at gas stations around town, and the Wawa was no exception. During the nonstop commotion, we heard mixed reactions from people filling up to get out of town. People in Hampton Roads are fueling up to move to higher ground.
This is a serious storm.
On Monday night, Governor Ralph Northam announced the evacuation order for Evacuation Zone A.
And it's going to affect the entire state of Virginia.
So at 8 o'clock Tuesday morning, some people living in the lowest lying parts of Hampton Roads in the Eastern Shore moved out in case Hurricane Florence moves in. Vanderbilt is in Evacuation Zone A.
We got no choice. If it shifts, it's gonna be ugly.
He wants the storm to miss Norfolk.
I'm hoping the Europeans are right. I think that's our best hope.
Even with wishful thinking,
But it's fine. It's fine. We're gonna be fine.
other people aren't taking chances.
But I'm still gonna evacuate just because say we're supposed to get a lot of rain, and I'd rather be in a safe area than just risk it. Risk my puppy's life, risk my life.
I know it looks beautiful out today, but you can't put a price on your life and your family's life.
Sam Bernadotte says her husband left with the Navy. Even though she doesn't live in the current evacuation zone, she bought and packed a new car yesterday to evacuate.
Just everything that can be replaced from family members and my husband.
As many people as there were at the gas pump with the plan to evacuate,
Which way did you see?
we also had to help others find their evacuation zone.
Okay, it says Zone B.
Whether you want to stick out the storm or not, we can't stress enough how important it is to have a plan, be prepared, and know your zone in case the governor orders another evacuation.
Good luck again. Stay safe.
Officials for the city of Chesapeake also told people living in mobile homes to evacuate as well. For people without internet access who don't know their evacuation zone, you can call for local emergency managers by dialing 211. Megan Shin, 13 News Now.
Megan, thank you. And right now, the Salvation Army is also coordinating with community agencies and EMS officials. They're helping provide meals and drinks with these trucks. Those are mobile feeding units, and they're ready for the disaster response. There are 8 to 10 of them in Virginia and another 19 ready to help in the Carolinas.
Wow.
And check out these images from the high above the earth. You can see just how massive Hurricane Florence actually is. Now, this footage comes to us from the International Space Station as it passed over the storm yesterday.
That's one big storm, guys.
And time now to get an update on Florence. We send it over to Tim.
All right,
Here we go.
Guys, latest update from 11 a.m. from the Hurricane Center. Still has a Category 4 storm, a major hurricane, 130-mile-per-hour winds. Here's the latest track forecast on it. Takes it off to the west-northwest and eventually headed towards the North Carolina coastline and eventually making landfall. It's the possibility here. There's still a Category 3. So this is different from this morning. It was at a Category 4, but still just a difference of 10 miles per hour in terms of its sustained winds. So still packing a doozy. But right now it looks like just to the northeast of Wilmington. I will tell you, Evan and I were just looking at the 12Z GFS run, and that falls into line with what we've been seeing on the Euro, which trends off to the south and west. So that could mean a better scenario for us here in Hampton Roads if it does hold. Again, it was just one run, so we'll see if that goes on through the rest of the afternoon. Here's how it looks in terms of the uncertainties, right? Each line you're seeing here is a different computer model, and that was trending off to the east, it was trending off to the west, to the southwest, so maybe we're starting to see a little bit of an indication of a trend here off to the south and west. Let's compare the two global models here. Again, this is showing the GFS and the European. The European takes it in over the North Carolina, South Carolina line, effectively bringing us much lower impacts here. And as we mentioned, the latest run of the GFS is sort of falling in line with that scenario. This is the old run of the GFS, but both stall it out over central North Carolina. That can bring a lot of issues for them in the coming days. Hurricane watches are up, though, for the entire coastline of North Carolina, stretching up towards Sandbridge and Back Bay in Virginia, and that goes all the way down through South Carolina to the Charleston area as well. And inland, there's tropical storm watches out towards Raleigh. Here's how it looks on satellite imagery. A very large, well-defined eye has replaced the smaller pinhole eye earlier through an eye wall replacement cycle, and that strengthened it. We'll likely see an update on that later on this afternoon, see if it did, in fact, gain sustained winds stronger than it is. 800 miles or so away from land at a potential landfall somewhere along Wilmington, North Carolina, or even south and southwest of there. Right now, with the latest runs, could even be scooting that off to the southwest a little bit more, but certainly through North Carolina, going to see the greatest threat of impacts. Winds, rain, going to be our issues here. And here's a look at the European run and showing the estimated wind speeds. And look at it as it makes landfall, over 100 miles per hour out through Wilmington.
Wow.
And even over 100 in Myrtle Beach as well, as it stalls out and eventually meanders west inland, raining itself out and bringing a lot of devastating flooding there. In terms of wind probability in our area for this storm, 40 mile per hour winds are stronger. That'd be tropical storm force, but look at the percentage chance. Everybody up and over 50%. We'll see that updates and trends off to the south and west like we saw with the GFS. Rainfall totals, seeing the latest numbers on here. 6 to 12 inches on the GFS, but the European substantially lower than that with that southwesterly trend. Still
Let's go European.
Nothing to shrug off here. 2 to 4 inches still could cause some flooding, but certainly would be dodging a bullet if in fact the Euro does verify. So short-term forecast, rather quiet. Warm and humid. Florence impact not set in stone. So about 48 hours between now and the arrival of the storm across the North Carolina coastline. Out there right now it's 89. A dew point at 73. Extremely warm, extremely muggy. 89 in Norfolk, 86 in Chesapeake, 90 Williamsburg, 88 Edenton, 85 out in Virginia
Feels
Beach.
like 102 according to my thermometer. Outback.
There, lifting north over towards the Albemarle Sound, eventually into northeastern North Carolina. Expect a few more of them driven by the heat and humidity of the day. So 87 out there this afternoon, partly cloudy, an isolated shower. 75 tonight, muggy and warm, partly cloudy. And there's look your 7-day forecast. Mid-80s again tomorrow, and then we'll watch for the potential impacts here again with Florence and exactly where that storm goes, when our impacts, and how much of a problem they could be as we get into towards the weekend time frame.
Definitely crunch time to keep an eye on.
All right, guys, we've been on 21 minutes.
And remember, 13 News Now has a great resource to help you get storm ready. Download the free hurricane guide from 13newsnow.com.
God bless.
It has supply list, important phone
Be
numbers,
safe.
and so much more there.
You guys are all awesome.
We could be looking at widespread power outages from the wind and the rain, and that's why right now Dominion Energy is keeping